Hello everybody, it is Jayfrey back again with another video, and today we are revisiting the Incendium mod. The Incendium mod is an awesome mod that completely changes the Nether, adding new mobs, structures, and even biomes. Since the last video only covered what each of the weapons do, I got a lot of requests on where to find each of the weapons, so that's what this video will be today. If you haven't seen the last video, make sure to go and check it out because it covers all of the biomes, structures, and other things that you can find in this mod, including some of the weapons. Before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out more than you know, and you get to join our amazing community. Now let's get right into it. The first structure that we'll start at is the Sanctum. The Sanctum is a giant structure that can be found in the Quartz Flats biome and is filled with a whole bunch of different kinds of illagers, but there are some cool weapons that you can find here. The three main weapons that we'll be focusing on are the Holy Wrath, Daybreaker, and Ragnarok. To find the Daybreaker, which is the sword in the middle, you'll first want to enter the Sanctum, and then turn right, and you'll see this little leafy area, and there's a secret hidden staircase here. So you'll go down this, and then turn right, and you'll see this is the entrance to the Daybreaker maze. Hi guy. The maze is a long and confusing tunnel of pathways made completely out of blackstone, and you have to make your way all the way through to try and find the Daybreaker. Once you find the Daybreaker though, you have to be careful because it opens up a trap that will make all the sand fall. So if we grab this... Oh, yep, there we go, and fell into that. So once you pick up the Daybreaker, all of the floor beneath you will fall, and then you'll have to make it back out of the maze, except this time, you can only stand on the edges, which makes it really difficult to leave. After that, we'll be looking for the Ragnarok, which is this bow on the right. First, you're gonna have to enter again, and go down the hidden staircase like we did to find the Daybreaker. But instead of going to the Daybreaker maze, you'll instead go forward into an area called the main corridor. Right through these red doors, and then this other set of red doors, and you're going to want to make sure you have a potion of fire resistance on you, because you need to jump down here into this lava pit, and then hit these secret little buttons over here, and then it opens up this first corridor, and you'll need to do it one more time to open this corridor, and then you'll be in an area known as the Secret Crypt. Once you're inside the hidden crypt, it is very similar to the Daybreaker maze, where it is a bunch of winding tunnels, and there's lots of treasures at the ends of them, but you need to find the right way to go to claim the Ragnarok. Once you find your way through the maze, you'll find a chest at the very end, and it has the Ragnarok in it, with a bunch of spectral arrows that you can use to shoot it. Once you've done some more exploring through the hidden crypt after getting your Ragnarok, you may come across a room called the Vault. When you enter the vault entrance, you'll see that there are spectral arrows on both sides, and on the one side, they are locked behind iron bars. So what you have to do is copy the pattern of the ones that are behind the iron bars to the other side, and then hopefully, it should open the vault doors. Whoa, look at that. Hey guy, and he's holding our last weapon. When you enter the vault, you'll find 3 Sanctum Guardians, and they'll be using the weapon that we need, which is the Holy Wrath. So if you're in survival, you will have a very hard battle against them, but luckily I am in creative, so I can just go ahead and kill him. And he dropped his Holy Wrath. There is a chance that you won't get it every time, but if you kill all 3 of them, then you should have a pretty high chance of getting it. The next structure that you can find some of the weapons in is found in the Ash biomes, and it is the Forbidden Castle. Now this is probably the most challenging structure in the entire game, just because it is giant and is filled with a bunch of piglin warriors, but there are a lot of different weapons that you can find here, so if you're able to make your way through it, it is definitely worth it. The first weapon that you might find in the Forbidden Castle is the Blazing Hatchet. Now the Blazing Hatchet is found in the Pyromaniac room and is guarded by the Pyromaniac Piglin, so watch out because he is a fierce warrior, but once you defeat him, you're able to get the hatchet, and it's awesome because when you hit enemies with it, it'll launch them in the air and make them explode with fire, and if you mine logs with it, it will turn it into charcoal. The next weapon that you can possibly find in the Forbidden Castle is the Chilling Blade. Now the Chilling Blade does exactly what it sounds like it would, and that is inflict slowness 2 on any of your enemies. This is a cool weapon and it has an 80% chance to be found inside any barrels inside of the icy rooms within the Forbidden Castle. So I think if we go in here... There it is, the Chilling Blade. Freezes souls to the core. The next weapon is a little bit harder to get to, as it spawns all the way on the top of the main tower, and it only has a 50% chance to spawn there, but it is the Great Sword of Sacrifice. This sword is a slow sword that drains your health, but it inflicts massive damage on any enemies that you hit it with. So if you're able to make your way all the way up here, you can go ahead and grab it for a sword that does some awesome damage. Next up is another weapon that you can find near the tops of towers, and that is the multiplex crossbow. If you find any towers that look like this and have doors that open into them, then there's a chance when you enter them that the multiplex crossbow will be laying on a table inside. Now this crossbow is awesome because it has the ability to launch short range and high spread fiery arrows, so if there's a lot of enemies nearby, it'll take a lot of damage for each of them. If you make your way all the way to the top of the main tower in the area, and don't see the Great Sword of Sacrifice, then you may see the Scarlet Dagger. This also has a 50% chance to spawn all the way at the top right here, and this is an awesome weapon because it reduces damage, but it has a 5% chance to slightly heal you when damaging mobs. And it also has a 100% chance to heal you if you kill them, so there's a 50% chance to get the Great Sword of Sacrifice or the Scarlet Dagger all the way at the top. Next up, we have another amazing weapon that you can find in the Forbidden Castle, and that is Sentry's Wrath. The Sentry's Wrath spawns in a special room that has copper mechanisms and sentries in it, which unfortunately didn't spawn in my castle, but this is what the weapon looks like. And if you find the room, this is what it looks like, and the Sentry's Wrath will be sitting right in the middle for you. This weapon is awesome because it strikes out lightning bolts when you shoot it, and it also has piercing and mending on it, but you have to make sure to listen for the auditory clue for when you shoot it, or else it will electrocute you instead. Another amazing weapon that spawns in the Forbidden Castle is the Voltaic Trident. Now the Voltaic Trident spawns at the top of clock towers in the Forbidden Castle, which unfortunately my castle did not have those either, but will spawn at the top and look something like this, and this is another amazing weapon because when you throw it, it'll strike and make a sphere of electricity wherever it lands, and will damage anything within that. This is also what the clock tower looks like, so you know where to find it. And our last item that you have a chance to find in the Forbidden Castle is the Wither's Bane. The Wither's Bane is an awesome gold sword that has the ability to spread damage from one undead mob to the other. This includes zombies, skeletons, wither skeletons, and zombie piglins. Now unfortunately, this one also did not spawn in my castle, but this is the room that it would normally spawn in, and it looks like a war room, and the sword is found right in the middle of it. So it's really a chance of which weapons you're going to find in your castle, and you may have to go to more than one to find all the different weapons. The next loot that you can find isn't actually a weapon, but is instead a shield, and you can find it in this giant structure, which is the Nether Reactor. The Nether Reactor is this big structure filled with lava, and it has bunches of barrels throughout that you can open and get some cool blocks and armor from, but watch out for the reactor sentry who will shoot you while you're in here, and also guards some pretty good treasure. Once you make your way all the way up to the top though, you can see there's a barrel right there, and if you go inside of it, then it should have the shield we're looking for, which is the radiation shield. The radiation shield is pretty cool because when you use it to block, it'll send out radiation which poisons your enemies, making it pretty helpful. And the last amazing weapons that you can find from this mod are inside this structure, which is the Infernal Altar. Once you travel inside the Infernal Altar, it is split into different chambers that are supposed to represent each of the biomes from Vanilla and the Incendium mod. And right in the middle is an altar with a book, and when you click on it, there's a strange and mysterious poem, and if you're able to read it, then it tells you how to get these awesome weapons. Once you decipher what it says in the book, all you have to do is take a nether star and throw it right onto the lectern, and it will summon the final boss of the Incendium mod, the Hovering Inferno. This is an amazing boss battle with custom boss music, and it is the most challenging thing in the game, so I recommend that you prepare for it because it's an awesome but difficult battle. Once you defeat this guy, he has the chance to drop a few different weapons, which I will show once I finish him off. It has a 20% chance to drop each of the weapons, which are the Firestorm or the Trailblazer, and also a 20% chance to drop a Prismatic Shield or a necrotic shield, and a 20% chance to drop the Infernal Feather. The Firestorm is an awesome item because it is a crossbow that has an ability to shoot a magical fireball whenever you use it, and when it hits your enemy, it'll deal a lot of damage, so it's an awesome weapon. The Trailblazer is another awesome item, and it is a bow, and when you shoot it, it'll pierce through mobs and it will explode once it hits a block, and if you use spectral arrows with it, it'll leave a path of fire behind it, but make sure not to use it too quickly or else you'll catch yourself on fire instead. The Prismatic Shield is another awesome loot drop that you can get from the Hovering Inferno. This is an awesome shield because when you're using it, if an enemy hits you, it'll bounce back and deal damage, but also do some cool light effects. The Necrotic Shield is super helpful too, because if you're using it to block and an enemy hits you, it'll give them the Wither effect so that you're more protected and they take damage instead. And last but not least is the Infernal Feather, which is an awesome item that you can combine with an Elytra on a smithing table to get the Infernal Wings, which are slightly slower than regular Elytra wings, but they have a lot of extra armor on them. That is all for this video though, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more of these weapons in action, be sure to watch the actual Incendium mod review, which goes over all the structures in depth, where to find them, and how each of the weapons work. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!